It's really tough out there if you're a junior developer looking for a job. Every job opening instantly gets hundreds or thousands of applications. If you go on Blind or Reddit, it seems like everybody that gets a job already has a job or graduated first in their class from a top-tier computer science university.
Yes, this is one of the tough parts of living in a modern society with access to social networks such as LinkedIn or these websites for job hunting. If there are job openings, they instantly get filled with thousands or hundreds of applications of people that just received a notification and want to apply, or maybe even apply instantly because of an automated program. So unlike previous years when you had to go in person and apply to a job, yes, it was more cumbersome and it was a little bit annoying to have to go to an office and hand over a resume. Here, you have the disadvantage that you have to compete against thousands of people that are just applying from somewhere else. Maybe you have to compete against people from other countries. So yes, it is difficult to apply for jobs nowadays.
And that ain't you. In this video, I'll give you my take on the current job market for junior and entry-level developers and what I would do if I were in your situation. I've survived 3 collapses of the software developer industry, the dot-com boom, the Great Recession, and whatever it is that we're going through right now.
It surprises me that he has survived all of those market collapses or those depressions. He doesn't look old. He was already working when the dot-com bubble burst. He doesn't look old enough for that. I believe him, but I'm surprised. He looks very young.
I think the answers are easier than you think they are, even if it is painful. I'm completely self-taught, and I became a software developer at Amazon at the height of the Great Recession, so I know it's possible. Great. The big question is whether the downturn and low availability of jobs for junior developers today represents a permanent shift in the industry. With all of the layoffs, is the end of software as a lucrative career done for? Should you just abandon everything and get a job in the trades? Should you just go be a plumber because AI can't unclog a toilet?
It is surprising to me that everyone, including developers, are worried about their jobs being replaced by AI. I don't think that's the case, at least not in the near future for software developers, but I do believe that AI is going to replace many entry-level positions for junior designers or junior writers. YouTube is full with videos posted by people saying that they got fired because they were replaced by an AI or yes, stuff like that.
Yeah, the simple answer is no.
Oh,
it's an absurd idea, and you'll agree with me when I share my reasoning.
Yes, I agree with him. It is just a slow market. It is an employer's market. You just need to be patient. Things will get better as usual.
If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Steve Huynh, Uncle Steve or Steve, and I'm a former principal software engineer at Amazon, where I spent 18 years. I just quit my job to make content full time. Great. My new mission is to up-level 1 million.
I hope I can be like you.
people in their tech careers. Thank you for helping me on this quest. If you want more from me, sign up to my free weekly newsletter or join my free community of several thousand tech professionals up-leveling themselves and encouraging each other on my Discord. Details in the description. So let's start with AI. Yes, the demos are all amazing. LLMs can code faster than you can. They can now produce functional code snippets, debug existing programs, and even design simple applications.
Yes, it surprised me when I took a look at the first version of ChatGPT. Well, not the first version of ChatGPT, the first version that I tried. I believe it was ChatGPT 3.5, and it could solve problems that could have taken me hours, and it gave great code with comments and all of that. It was impressive.
A couple of years ago, this technology couldn't do squat. And that's the thing with exponential growth. It doesn't take that much time for the numbers to get really, really big. If the growth in capabilities continues to stay exponential, it's not just tech jobs that are going to be replaced. Everybody will be out of a job. While AI's
Yes, everyone is worried that some specific jobs are going to be replaced and others are not going to be replaced. But if AI continues to evolve at this rate, which I don't think it will replace everyone. So it is something to think about.
Capabilities are still growing, signs of a slowdown are already here. It's like when your buddy meets a new girl and she's absolutely perfect. She's not, it just takes a bit of time before you understand that she isn't. New studies indicate that LLMs can't independently learn or gain new skills. That's a problem if you're trying to replace developers. You train an LLM only on poems, it can't write a good novel. They frankly can't write a good novel now, even though they're trained on novels. LLMs are great for parroting things that they've been trained on, but without the ability to learn about adjacent skills, LLMs will just be a really fancy autocomplete. But Steve, you might say, what if we invented the ability for LLMs to learn? Well, sure, but my wife would be a car if she had 4 wheels. The thing about breakthroughs is you can't predict when they'll come, if ever. LLMs were an amazing breakthrough for sure, but now...
Yes, to quote someone that I admire, don't worry about the future, it will come soon enough.
That we're understanding their limits, you can't just predict another fundamental breakthrough is coming soon. It doesn't work like that. The second bit that doesn't scare me about AI, and that nobody is talking about, is that nobody is making any money from it. Well, maybe Nvidia is, but they're selling shovels during the gold rush.
I heard that people that work at Nvidia, many of the early employees, or even some not so early employees, are making millions or made millions because the stock skyrocketed. So
everybody else is spending a ton of money on AI. Nobody's struck gold yet. Show me a company that has actually replaced devs with AI. I'll wait. Everybody assumes that it'll happen, but just look at where the money is and how it flows. Big picture, when it comes to AI, I'm on team Jan LeCun, the chief AI scientist at Meta. In the future, we'll all have AI assistants that do all of the work that we don't want to do, and they'll amplify our existing abilities. These AI assistants will talk with the assistants of other people. When they do some work for us, we'll check it to make sure that that work matches our intentions. That would be a really big upgrade to our quality of life, but it's not going to result in artificial intelligence taking over the world and making humans obsolete. That's just absurd to me. Like, look at the CrowdStrike app.
Yes, I also don't believe that it's going to happen. It is an amazing tool to help you understand things quickly or help you do some specific parts of your job well and faster, but it's not going to, I don't believe it's going to replace you, at least not in the near future.
Outage where code was pushed out and brought down large portions of our corporate software systems. You mean to tell me that we're going to replace devs that have the power to make mistakes with a huge blast radius with an AI that hallucinates and can't reason? Please. But Steve, you might say, look at all the layoffs. Many thousands of developers have been laid off in this recent down cycle. Well, companies are laying people off because they overhired during the pandemic.
Yes, this is something that people forget. I feel like I feel like everyone is trying to blame AI for all the bad things that are happening to the job market, but many companies overhired during the pandemic. I remember that we were a team of 12 and everyone started leaving because they got amazing job offers from other companies. And as he just said, companies overhired. They hired a ton of people. They hired software developers. They hired designers. They hired a ton of people that they didn't really need, and now they just need to get rid of them. Maybe, I don't know, 10% of the layoffs are due to AI, but the others are just a symptom of overhiring during the pandemic.
We're still above pre-pandemic staffing for software developers. And I don't like that attitude. Here's a secret. Companies all copy each other. Sometimes this imitation leads to a really hot market. As we were getting out of the pandemic, everybody was hiring. These create cycles that feed on themselves. During the hiring boom, companies were throwing big money at people to get them to come to their companies. This left an open seat that needed to be filled at the company they left. Since a company with hiring needs is also competing with others with hiring needs, this created a crazy boom cycle. Anybody with a pulse was hired. What we're seeing now with the layoff cycle is companies copying each other again. Companies are trying to trim teams down as much as possible. A lot of companies will trim.
Yes, that's something that happens with many companies. They copy each other, meaning that if they see that a company is firing people and they get bad press for it, when they do it, it's not going to look as bad because they can always point to the other one and say something like, well, if they are doing it, why can't we? So I believe that the company that started all of these tech layoffs was Twitter, when Elon Musk acquired it and started firing a ton of people. I may be wrong, but that was the catalyst for me. Other tech companies saw that Elon Musk was firing a ton of people from Twitter. I believe it was almost 80%, and they all started doing it because now they aren't afraid of the bad press, because they already got a bunch of the bad press. So it is now normal to see those headlines.
Too much, but the consequences of overfiring take months to years to catch up. So suppose you're a company with 100 developers and you get a mandate to eliminate 20% of them this year and 20% next year, and also to freeze promotions. So you'll be down to a nice round number of 64 people after this 2-year down cycle. The work didn't go away. You still have a roadmap. You still have to keep the lights on and support existing products. Morale is going to go down the tubes. Burnout is going to increase.
A colleague of mine was fired like 2 weeks ago, and she was doing a ton of work. She handled a ton of the things that now someone else is doing. So the work didn't go away. It's just that we are getting more and more, and we are doing the same thing with less people. It leads to burnout, and also, as he just said, it is scary to see your colleagues leave and being fired. So it's not going to create a good environment for employees.
The senior people are going to leave the team because they have options. I'll tell you right now that AI isn't going to solve this problem. There's another big problem here, which is the impending demographics bomb. When the company finally realizes that they cut too much, they're going to want more senior people first to plug the holes. But they don't have any seniors because they haven't been promoting internally. Nobody has any seniors because the industry collectively decided that they weren't going to hire junior engineers. And that's where senior engineers come from, today's junior and entry-level engineers. I'd like to take a quick moment to thank today's video sponsor, Springboard. The market is going to come back. I guarantee it, unless you think that technological innovation is done. Now, here's what I believe. It's really difficult to predict change. So it's smarter to think about what isn't going to change, which is human and company behavior. Companies are going to copy each other. They're going to run into collective problems. The collective problem they'll run into in the coming years is a lack of software developers and tech workers to build tomorrow's technology. In the late 90s, early 2000s, I made websites for medium-sized organizations. This dried up after the dot-com bust.
Okay.
Well, what were people saying back then? That the technology sector was done, that the internet was played out. What a ridiculous thing to say today. But back then, people really thought that the internet was just another fad.
Yes, they believed that it was just technology was just a bubble that burst, and it is not something like important, and they were wrong. The technology sector kept evolving, and yes, there was an investor bubble or something like that burst because many investors invested in companies that didn't have any value, but there were also many companies that grew and became the ones that we know today, such as, I don't know, Apple, Microsoft, Google. So yes, it's important.
When it comes to software, technology, and the internet, I think we're much closer to Kitty Hawk, where the airplane was invented, than the moon landing. I think technology and the internet are going to evolve in ways that we cannot imagine today. I believe more money will be made on this technology in the future than has ever been made up until this point. And I think that the junior and entry-level engineers of today are going to be the ones that realize that future. So, what should you do if you're a junior or entry-level developer? If you have a job, you need to become a senior developer as quickly as possible. This will protect you if you lose your job, as senior jobs are still out there. Now is not the time to coast if you're employed. If you don't have a job, then you need to kill the clock. If you were thinking about going to school to get a supplementary degree or do a boot camp and you won't go into too much debt, do it. If you've been thinking about starting a company, I would encourage you to do so. It's never been easier to create a website or mobile application. With the advent of cloud computing, you can get something off the ground really fast and get customers in record time. If you can make your own
Very fast and cheap.
experience, that's great. And if you still can't find a job as a developer, loosen your constraints a bit and start applying to adjacent roles. Maybe you can get your foot in the door as a support engineer, QA, SDET, TPM, project manager, program manager, SysDev, something that is related to software development. My first job at Amazon was as a support engineer contractor. I thought the job was beneath me, but it turned out to be the best thing that could have happened to me. I was able to get exposure in the industry while studying to be a developer from the inside.
Oh, great.
This choice enabled me to transition to software development at the height of the Great Recession, when nobody was hiring anywhere. Software developers are problem solvers that bring technology into existence.
Never believe that those jobs are beneath you. Every job has something that some value, so don't believe that just because you are a support engineer you won't have any growth.
AI simply can't learn on its own. The only way the industry won't rebound is if you don't think that new technology will exist in the future. Junior developers are the people that will take us there. If you're looking to break into the industry, keep your sails up. It's just a matter of time when the wind picks up, and you can be there to catch it. If you found this video helpful, take a look at my latest video on how I would find a job if I had to start over.
This was a great video. I didn't know about this guy and his channel, but this was very informative, and he has a very positive attitude towards the job market and junior developers. I don't believe that junior developers are screwed. I believe that it is a little harder to get a job in this current market because everyone is getting fired, but sooner or later you're going to get a job at a good company and you will be able to grow. So don't feel bad if it is taking you a little longer than you expected. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We are trying to reach 50 subscribers, so if you liked it, please subscribe and leave a comment and like.